Hello, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, I want to share my creations. It's basically a five-sided building inspired by one infinite loop, at Apple Park. But this is actually made of stars. Alright, so let's take a look. The geometry node is pretty simple, and you perhaps can already tell this is all made of stars. Okay, there are two different parts, the purple one and the green one, and it all comes together here under join geometry. So let's break this. Let's use Control Options / using right click mouse. So this is the first part. This should be pretty simple. The last part is just give it purple material, and I'm using curve to mesh, and there's something here for profile curve, which is basically like a bunch of stars along stars. Okay, so first we have this kind of like a sweep into the star, and we can control the shape of the stars, so inner and outer. Okay, so we have this quite nice shapes, architects, kind of like nice design, and I'm using fillet just to make it a little bit more curvy. If I go a little bit mad with the fillet, we can have this twisting curve, so something that's a little more abstract. So yeah, you have that flexibility. So this resample, let's actually look at this profile curve. Profile curve is a bunch of stars, basically instants together. So we have kind of this control over the stars. We can twist the stars, but it's basically like a bunch of stars that's been instanced from smaller stars. So there's a lot of like layered stars underneath. It's a little bit like it's almost like a pipe, just a little bit more complex because we are just using a lot of stars. Okay, this is, I think this one is telling you exactly, this is pretty clear. I'm using kind of curve to points to resample the curve, so I can have as many curve as possible. So I think this is the best design so far. In fact, this can be like a really nice chair, except that the middle part might be empty, but you can put like a tree at the center. Yeah, so this is what something really complex that you can create using just curve to mesh, which is like, this is like a sweep operations. There is this control over the rotations just to adjust the design slightly. This is rotating the instance. You can play around with that. You can actually randomize each of the stars. Imagine all the stars that you start with these shapes of stars, and then you resample it, and then you create a lot of stars here, and then you sweep it along another star shapes. Okay, so that's what's really happening. It's like a cables basically, but because we are using the same shapes of stars, we get something that's looking like a design. Okay, let's take a look at the other one. Okay, the other one is resembling like a kind of like a children's toy. Again, this is just a bunch of stars that's instant along another stars. So let's take a look. See, this is just lots of stars, shapes, object. I don't know why I created this, but I think it's still pretty fun to play around with. It makes you understand about instancing, and also how the instance objects can be copied along the path. This one is slightly confusing, but it's basically like an extruded stars. Here we have star shapes there, and we use curve to mesh, so we have stars to extrude, to sweep along the stars, and this one also affecting the shape of the stars. Yeah, basically a lot of stars. And then you use the rotate instance if you want to make animations. But I think what's important is really align Euler to vector, because if you pick the wrong one, you're gonna get a different design. And then you just resample it along the curve as much as you can. Okay, instance, and then resample. We have scale control. Okay, this one is also interesting. See, if you pick the wrong one, it's becoming like flat like this. You can of course loft this into another shape of stars, but in this case we just want it to be standing like this. So we have this kind of like a bricks made of stars, kind of like a wall. Five stars wall, basically. There you go. 5 stars walls. Maybe some kind of super luxury meta space for billionaires. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's some kind of abstract looking architecture inspired by Apple Park. Alright, so yeah, hopefully you find this useful and interesting. Play around with this. Actually, what's probably missing here is maybe instead of just stars, this could be like trees. So it looks like an ideal place where you put like a natural trees and plants, and put a garden in the middle, and then that's a safe wall, I guess. Alright, so hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.